What's up, everybody? This is John from Nap Daddy Racing. I know it's been a while. I have been incredibly busy lately, focusing more on the design stuff, and I haven't really been racing a lot as much as I want to. But we just had this new product drop for this number, and I'm making a video to show you guys how to use it, how to create your own number, and also how to add this pretty cool chrome effect here across it. So let's get into it. So when you open up your number set, it's going to come in a Photoshop file just like this. These are all labeled, so you have 0 through 1. You can pick any number you want to, using Control T to pick number 9, and I'm able to move that all around. So you can move that to whatever number you would like, 39, 89, 90, whatever. If you come over to the W Illustrator side, it's going to look just like this. This is the preferred way I like to do it. You can do it however you feel most comfortable with, but I like to work in Illustrator first. That way I can make my number and then I can use it over different different things, change the colors, do whatever I want to it, combine these whites background if I want to. So go into the Photoshop file, I'll show you the first way to do it. It's not my preferred method, but you could definitely do it this way. Easiest way would be just to hold Alt on the number you want. Oops. Just hold Alt, select the number you want here, and you just drag it over to your design that you're going to do here. And there's the number there already. Oops. And this file is separated by layers to this folder. So you can hit Control T to move the whole thing, place it where you want to. And that would be fine if you're doing like one number or so. It kind of gets into a problem, not really a problem, but kind of a headache when you're trying to take two numbers. Let's take 12 here, for instance, and try to put it in here. And you'll kind of see why this is a hassle. See, now I have two files right here, two folders for number 1 and number 2. Oops, I just had to do that. Control T here, drag the whole thing. And then we got to worry about getting it right and even and looking right. So I just prefer not to do it that way. If you have a single number, I think that's fine. I don't think that's going to be a big deal. The way I would do it is to go into the Illustrator file that's provided. Go over here, you'll have layer properties, layers, artboards. Go to artboards. I like to make a second artboard for this. And we want to do number 12. I'm going to go back to my layers panel here, making sure that these are all unlocked. And we want number 1 and number 2. I'm going to highlight both, hold Alt, and drag them to my new artboard. And just piece them together like you want to. And since these have a white background and this is white as well, I like to just come in, make a new layer, and just add like a little background here, like a square background, just temporarily so I can see the white outline. We'll lock that for a second. Come back here, let's make these a lot bigger. And use your ruler tool. If you don't see your ruler tool, you can go up to View and go all the way down to Rulers and it'll say Show Rulers. But just to make sure these are nice and even, drag from the top just to about where this white border is. I'm scrolling in and out by holding Alt and just scrolling my wheel. Yeah, those are pretty even, so we'll keep that. And then we just kind of pick where we want these at. I think that looks pretty good there. Come back in here, I'm just going to delete this. Yes. Make this a lot bigger. I'm holding Alt and Shift to make sure it expands equally here. All right, here's the most important part that you got to follow step for step for this. What you're going to do is come into File and hit Export and Export As. Don't worry about these. When you hit export as, name it whatever you want to. We'll just name this number 12. Select use artboards, and then for range, number 2, because that's the second artboard, so we're using number 2 here. And then make sure it's exporting as a Photoshop file. And then hit export, and then make sure this says right layers right here. Cool. Once we do that, we'll go back over to Photoshop. I'll go to File, Open. Find wherever it is that you save that to. Um, for here was in the number set file. There's a lot of, I was doing some trial and error with this number set. But so these will all be gone. You'll only have two, 1 and 2 for your purchase here. You won't see the rest of this. But select what we just saved, and it should open this up just like that. Now that we're here, we have to do just a little bit of cleanup since if you're going to continue to use this number, I would suggest doing some cleanup to make this a little bit easier. Let's go and open up all of our folders. Since there's two numbers, there's going to be a 1 opacity, a 2 opacity, 1 bottom opacity, 2 bottom opacity. So I like to come through, hold shift and select both of these under top opacity and hit Control E. And that's going to save it to one layer. And just rename this top opacity. And I'm going to drag it out of the folder, delete that folder. Same thing. And the key thing is once you're done to make sure these are in the right order, because if not, like if I had this up here, it wouldn't be the same thing. So I also like to go through and take all these, just hit shift to select all of them and put them in the same folder. And then I rename these for every single one that I do, number, and then a dash. That way when I put it on the right side of the car, I can put right. If I put it on the left side of the car, put left, top, hit, back, whatever you need. Cool. And now you have your number saved as a Photoshop file that you can use time and time again. Be sure to save it like you would normally. And then we're going to go back to the same kind of way that we did the other Photoshop file, but we're going to hit Alt, drag this to our template that we want to use. This came out huge because I saved it on a huge file. And then you just place it wherever you would like. Boom. And then once I save this over to the car side, I have a hotkey that saves it directly to my iRacing file. I'll show you. And there's our number right there. I'm not worried about positioning and size right now, just the overall concept. Now, if we wanted to go back and change this color, we'll open up our number. And the thing about this, if you want to keep the white and everything, don't worry about the bottom or the mid here. Don't touch the top opacity or the bottom opacity either. These can stay the same throughout everything. That's literally just a black layer that I dropped the opacity on. A little more here, a little less here. Change the color. Double click on top, color overlay, and then let's just change it to I like this color. Boom. And then this purple lines here, we want to change that to. This will be under mid 2. I'm going to have that, but I want it to be a little bit darker. A little more blue. There we go. And then we'll save that. And this is what we're looking like on the car.